This is the real history of the one and only, the Red Devil that is Keano, Roy Keane.
Oh, really?
Born Roy Morris Keane on the 10th of August 1971 and raised in Cork, Ireland. His parents Maurice and Marie Keane had always been hard working class people, and his father had a keen interest in sport, particularly football, with much of Roy's family and relatives playing for the local Cork teams. Now, I couldn't actually find a picture of Roy as a baby, but I imagine he probably looked something like this. What the feck are you looking at? His first love for sport came within boxing at the age of 9, competing in 4 amateur contests and winning them all. Simultaneously, he was playing football for the youth team of Rockmount and was showing some obvious talent. Roy fell in love with the beautiful game and clearly also had a lot of love for David Hasselhoff at the time, as he rocked a fucking naughty mullet. Roy was a strong footballer in his teenage years, but was slightly overlooked due to his height and youth. In 1989, after 9 years with Rockmount, Roy joined Cove Ramblers in the Irish First Division, an uncompromising league where no prisoners were taken and hard tackles were the norm. Unlike these absolute wetties who play the game today, break a nail and act like a bunch of bloody babies. The young Irishman showed his class and progressed rapidly. In the final game of the season, Nottingham Forest scout Noel McCabe attended the game and invited Roy to attend some trials. He portrayed his skill and grit to impress the GOAT of British football, Brian Clough, who signed him from the Ramblers for £47,000, roughly 1,702 times less than Harry fucking Maguire. Now, for all you young guns out there who don't know much about Brian Clough, strap in, cause Uncle Proper is about to caress your tender nipples with some Cloughage lyrics. They just don't make them like him anymore. This man specialised in miracles, taking Derby County and Nottingham Forest from being bang average second division teams to being crowned the champions of England, and also with Nottingham Forest becoming champions of Europe. Now, we have stewards at games these days, but they can't seem to stop fans getting on the pitch or stop these oil helmets strapping themselves to the post. Here's how Brian Clough deals with them. Bosh! This man was a different breed. I mean, forward to today's managers. Can you see Roy Hodgson giving anyone a whack on the pitch? I don't bloody think so. Instead, he just gives them a little wave like a substitute teacher who's got fucking lost. Clough was a genius, but also the pinnacle of toughness in football. How the game should be. Roy Keane would not have been the Roy Keane he became without him. And these bellends wouldn't have got away with this tripe if he was still about. Oh, give it a bloody rest. Roy established himself well in the under-21s and the reserves before finally becoming a strong fixture in the starting 11. He found it difficult being away from his family, but Clough was sympathetic and allowed him to have return visits regularly. However, in true Clough style, he was less sympathetic in the third round of the FA Cup against Crystal Palace when Keane gifted a goal away, allowing them to draw the match. After the game, Clough took Roy to the dressing room and lamped him straight in the chest, knocking him arse over head. Roy returned from the dressing room crying, but has never held a bad feeling towards the GOAT for this incident. Now, the upbringing in the brutal streets of Ireland, the fierceness of the Irish Football League, and Clough's hard influence were all strong factors contributing to Keane's unshakable toughness.
He's spoken himself about how Cork people tend to grow up with two things. One, a superiority complex, and two, a chip on their shoulders. I think he's got both of those.
Bloody hell, never mind a chip on his shoulder, I reckon Roy had a McCain's warehouse on his fucking shoulders. He became a standout star in the Forest team, but the side were drifting down the table. Roy was in hot demand from other clubs, including Kenny Dalglish's side Blackburn Rovers. His relationship with Clough was souring due to higher wages demands, so the move was taking place. Dalglish had the contract set for a £4 million transfer, but mistakes in the contract affected the move at the last minute. One man heard of the situation and swooped in. A man who's redder than my Harris after a dodgy chicken tikka boner. A man who spent more time in injury time than John Terry spent sliding into your wife's DMs. The one and only gum-chewing, haggis-eating governor, Alex Ferguson. He picked off Roy at the very last minute, signing him to the mighty Man United in 1993 for the record UK sum of £3.75 million, about 21.5 times less than Harry fucking Maguire.
Really?
The infamous partnership was born. In true Fergie style though, he asserted his authority and made him fight for his place, which he did in style. Establishing his place in the starting 11, however occasionally turning up a bit pissed, he cruised Man United to retain the Premier League title and the FA Cup, sealing their first ever double. Fergie was a happy man and was reduced to a more kind of terracotta skin tone. But the following year he was soon to be returned to a naughty 50 shades of bloody red. An unsuccessful season saw United beaten to the title by Blackburn and beaten in the FA Cup final against Everton. And the infamous temper of Keono was coming to light with his first ever red card for the club for stamping on Gareth Southgate. Bosh! Straight in the baby maker and straight in the derby. He was suspended for 3 matches and his fierce reputation on the pitch was born. There was a shake-up of players in the 1995 season, leaving Roy Keane as now one of the more senior players in midfield. Signings such as foot fetish boy and midfield goat Paul Scholes, and a man clever enough to buy a jigsaw and try playing fucking Scrabble on it, Mr. David Beckham. A slow season trailing 12 points to Newcastle halfway through ended with the mighty Reds adding another title to their collection and another FA Cup double. He would contribute to another league title the following year, and the legendary Eric Cantona announced his retirement, putting Keane in the well-earned position of captain. And just in case you didn't know, old Eric here had a little bit of a temper as well. I bloody guarantee this oil helmet wouldn't have tied his neck to a post if the nutty frog was still about. Have that, bruv. Roy was unfortunately absent for most of the 1998 season with a cruciate ligament injury from an attempted tackle on Alf Inge Haaland. But Haaland apologised to Keane and Roy said, "No worries, Alf, me old son," and they've been good friends ever since. I think so anyway. That's right, ain't it? Well, we'll talk about that later. The Reds fell short of the league title this time in favour of Arsenal after being 11 points clear, and Fergie was almost bloody purple at this point. But the following year would be the legendary Irishman's greatest and finest hour. 1999, and Keane captained the Fergie army to the almighty treble honours. A convincing victory at the Premiership title, an emphatic 2-0 win over Newcastle for the FA Cup. However, it wasn't all smooth sailings, as he found out in the Champions League semi-final against Juventus when a mistimed tackle earned him a yellow card and stopped him from playing the final. But from 2 goals down, and knowing he wouldn't compete in the final game, Keane portrayed the most selfless and incredible display of football ever seen, leading them to a 3-2 victory. The final was something of fairy tales. 2 goals in injury time. Obviously, it's Fergie. And the trophy was raised. This, however, was described by Keane as his worst experience in football. But still, these events cemented his legacy in the Hall of Fame. Now, our old mate Roy has always been prone to a headline or two. The man loved a beer. He's Irish. Who would have thought? But Roy found himself on the mainstream radar many a time, whether trying to give Alan a little dig, calling his own fans a bunch of prawn sandwich eaters, or generally his antics on and off the pitch. And one lovely spring day in the local derby against Manchester City, Roy made this slightly mistimed tackle on his old friend Mr. Haaland. And when I say mistimed, I mean about 4 fucking years too late. Yes, that's right. I did lie when I said they were friends. Haaland accused Roy of milking the original tackle that caused him an injury, and this was Roy's infamous revenge. He was obviously sent off and received a 3-match suspension with a £5,000 fine. Now, in this situation, the best thing to do would have been to say, "Lovely jubbly, I've got my revenge. I'll take my punishment like a man. I'll let it go and keep quiet about the whole affair." But ladies and gentlemen, this is Roy Keane. He had some other ideas. He said, "Nah, fuck that. Let's release my autobiography and discuss it with millions of people. I'll tell you exactly why I did it and finish off by calling Haaland an absolute James Blunt." That is what you do when you're the ferocious legend Mr. Keane. The quote caused a huge stir and Roy was banned for 5 games with a £150,000 fine on top. This time the Irishman did feel regretful of the incident and he apologised for his actions. No, sorry, I got that wrong. In a later interview, he said he'd probably do it again. So there we are. We won't argue with you, Roy, my boy. Whatever tickles your pickle, bruv. On a side note, Alfie Boy did finish that game and also played for his country a few days later. So hopefully some of you fairies who play nowadays take note of this. And contrary to popular belief, Roy didn't end his career with this tackle. It was actually his other leg that caused him to cut it short. But it was still a mighty good effort from the Irishman. No wonder Vieira shat his pants.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Don't hurt me. Sorry.
Roy's international dreams never matched that of the success that he achieved through Manchester United, and the frustration reached boiling point in the World Cup 2002. Mick McCarthy, the Ireland manager, was a man that Keane never saw eye to eye with, and a dispute over inadequate training facilities caused the pair to lock horns. Mick took offence to Roy speaking about it all in the media and confronted the midfield legend. Keano responded in true Keano style, keeping it really respectful and dignified with these kind words. Now, I'd like to think of myself as a kind of historian, a documentarian covering the legacy of the greatest athletes of our time. I doubt, however, while I'm researching the history of people like Muhammad Ali, Pele or Tiger Woods, that I'll be able to find them saying quotes like "stick it up your bollocks." But then again, if you think we'd have Roy Keane any other way, you can stick it up your bollocks. Roy was sent home, but he was well on his way anyway. The Irish were knocked out and his international ties were severely severed. He did make another brief appearance in 2004, but announced his international retirement thereafter. During this time as well, the relationship with Fergie had also soured. Roy had now made Alex's face redder than a baboon's arse. An agreement to leave was made, and he joined his childhood favourite team Celtic on a free transfer. Zero money. That's 80 million times less than Harry Maguire. Well, you get the fucking point anyway. The winning mentality never left him though, as he helped take the side to complete a double of the Scottish Premier League and the League Cup. And on the 12th of June 2006, Keane announced his retirement from professional football.
I'd like to thank the players. I know it's been a long season and probably this is the last thing they needed, but I do appreciate it. To unite on Celtic. Thanks very much. Hope you've had a great night. It's something I'll remember for the rest of my life, and all the best.
This midfield magician of the game played 12 full seasons with United and won 7 Premier League titles, 4 FA Cups and the Champions League. And in my opinion is one of the last of the vintage style great breed of footballers made of pure grit, toughness and relentless heart. They just don't make them like him anymore. Clearly. Bloody hell, get up you baby. This is the history of Roy Keane. We bloody love this man. A god in football boots. Harder than Muhammad Ahmad Bruce Lee. His legacy lives on. Now, has anyone seen Patrick Vieira?
Where's Patrick? Where's Vieira? In your
Yes, that's where he is. Like and subscribe, people. Thanks for watching. Bosh.